Good morning. Today's Tuesday, November 10th. This is the Loving What Separates Us course, part of my own personal mission of healing the heart of America. And I'm honored that everyone's here with us this morning. I mentioned yesterday, and I wrote about it in my email, that this morning we'll be working with our throat chakra, healing the wounds there that keep us separate from the divine. And of course, we heal them by loving them. You might wonder, why did I refer to this fifth chakra as this very sacred chakra, when it's the second chakra that is called the sacral chakra. And that is also sacred. That controls the life force, the creative force. And the thing is that when it's channeled into our creative organs, we create life. When it's channeled into our speech becomes profoundly creative. It's one of the promises that God gave to Job. He said, "Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee." Or in more modern English, whatever you speak will come true. And so this morning, we'll start the awakening of that process. We've already started it, but we'll be more specific about it. But it will bring up issues of self-worth. Are we worthy of being so pure that what we speak becomes true, becomes real? It may bring up for some people some fears, as in, oh my gosh, if I become that powerful, what if I make a mistake? And who am I? A mere human being to have this sort of power. This may sound sort of out there, because is it even possible? There's another form of resistance that comes up. And I can just tell you that in the scriptures and sacred stories of every culture in the world, there are stories of saints and masters who issue a blessing and it comes true, issue a curse and it has to come true. So I would say it's well within the realm of reality, all depending upon how pure of heart we are. I go back to, I'm thinking of both the Christian tradition and the Vedic tradition here. I'm sure it's true in the Sufi tradition and the Taoist tradition. I'm sure it's true the Buddhist. But I'm thinking back to Joshua being in a battle in the Old Testament. He's winning the battle, but he needs more time. And the rules of the time are that once the sun goes down, the fighting stops. So he calls for the sun to stay high in the sky. That's just what happens. The day is extended. And he finishes the battle triumphantly. The story in the Vedic tradition is an interesting story about the ancient Vedic rishis, the ancient Vedic seers. And the husbands got all the credit and all the fame and all the glory. But apparently the wives were of such pure heart that they would say such a thing as, may the day be longer, and the day would be extended just by the power and truth of their speech. And of course, we'll explore the sweetness of speech that may feel more accessible to everyone. The great blessing that it is to have sweet speech, and how much of a gift it is to be around someone who speaks with sweetness and love. Would it be okay with us if we become that person? So that's the thread today. I tie it into the world at large by asking the question, who would we be as a nation? Who would be as a world if our leaders spoke with sweetness, with sacredness? Well, imagine that one, huh? Right now, they seem to speak whatever they need to speak to get reelected, to stay in power. So with that, let's just start our morning meditation, our morning journey into our heart, because all these things are only possible when we're fully established in our hearts, the center of energy in our body. So let's sit up straight, line our spine, line our neck, our head, maybe pull our shoulders back, and just begin by putting our hands over our heart. It's a very simple posture. It just seems to have such an effect on moving us into our hearts. And just take a moment and notice what your experience is internally. Just from this simple position, what starts to happen? What shifts begin to happen for you? Then let your hands down whenever that's comfortable. And now let's, in a similar vein, just say good morning to our breath, to our respiratory system. No need to change it at this point, just being with it, noticing it. And again, notice inside your body any sensations, any shiftings, any changes. Just honor them. Now let's move into our full breath. Full exhale, full inhale. Hold the abdominal muscles all the way back toward the spine on the exhale. And again, notice your experience. Every time we take a moment to notice, we build the sensitivity of our inner senses. What happens when we flush our body with prana, life force? What happens when we take control of the breathing process consciously, freeing up our unconscious? to do whatever house cleaning it might choose to do. And now let's move into our heart rhythm meditation. This profound practice revived by Paran and Susanna from the Desert Fathers and Mothers. These very God-realized beings of the 4th and 5th centuries. It means we inhale to the count of 8 heartbeats, exhale to the same count. It could be 6 or 10, whatever's right for you. We start to move into a rhythm between our heart and our breath. This allows us to move to coherence and to harmony with the magnetic impulse of the planet, the rhythm of nature. Full inhale, full exhale. Be sure to welcome up the name of your heartbeat. And always practice the heart breath, breathing in and out with the energy directly in and out of our hearts. again, notice, just notice. Who are you right now? Energy moving in and out of your heart, connected to your heart. Who are you? What greatness is possible within you, here in your heart? Since we're moving into a very sacred space, let's do the earth breath this morning. Excuse me, not the earth breath, the square breath, the diamond breath. And I'm sure you all know, but I'll just say it as a reminder. The square breath, we inhale to the count of 8, or 6 or 10, I'll use 8. We hold for twice as long, 16. Then we exhale for 8. Could be 6, 12, 6, 10, 20, 10. And always remember that if you have an irregularity to your heartbeat, arrhythmia, or some other challenge like that, just continue doing heart rhythm meditation. That's the right practice for you till the other heals. So let's just begin and do this on our own. Inhale to the count of 8. Hold usually about 80% of the breath. Hold for 16 and then exhale for 8. And we'll just continue this for a few minutes. And just finish up your last round, this next round. And you can notice what this rhythm does for your experience. So now let's practice a new breath pattern designed to open up our throat chakra and connect it to the heart. In this path of the heart, we always work through the heart. It adds great safety and protection and great majesty and glory to every other center. So what we'll do is we will breathe in through the back of our neck, through the medulla oblongata. It goes right up to the soft point in the skull, the back of the neck, right in there. We'll inhale just like we're breathing through the back of our heart. You want to inhale through that, continue the inhale and bring it down into the heart. All on the count of 8 heartbeats. And then on the exhale, bring the energy up out of the heart to the throat and out the front of the throat. So again, it's coming in from the back of the neck, sometimes called the mouth of God, certain mystical traditions. Inhaling the energy all the way down into the heart. And the exhale, the energy comes up to the neck, to the throat, and then out through the front of the throat. So I'll walk us through it. Inhaling into our heart, through the back of the neck, down into the heart. Filling the heart up, 8 heartbeats. Exhaling, energy comes up into the throat and out the front. And I'd suggest you do this with the air breath, with the lips slightly opened on both the inhale and the exhale. And just play with that. It's a new energy pattern. It's okay to lead with your imagination. The energy will follow. So let's just do that for a few minutes here. If you find yourself slipping into the ether breath, that's perfectly all right. The ether breath, we're inhaling through the open lips and the nostrils at the same time, and exhaling through both of them at the same time. The air breath is perfect. If it happens with the ether breath, don't worry about it. This practice of connecting the heart and the throat will allow sweetness and love in our speech. It's this process of integration. And here we're integrating the energies of our throat chakra, the energies of our heart chakra. We're allowing them to become aligned. And this throat center is the center of balance between the heart and the head. We enliven this and we enliven that balance. We may live in balance between our hearts and our minds. And now let's shift this practice once again to allow an even deeper level of integration. This time we'll breathe in through our medulla oblongata, through the back of the neck. But I want you to inhale all the way down to your second chakra. And then exhale, pull the energy up through the throat again, and exhale out the throat again the same way. And I suggest this time we use the water breath. Inhale through the nostrils. Fill up the second chakra. And exhale through the open lips, out through the throat. Just keep playing with that. And I'll explain what we're doing here. It wasn't until Prana and Susanna brought out the Hurkaya healing program that I really grasped that there's a connection between our throat chakra and our second chakra, our sacral chakra. And I sort of wondered about it at the time because, the clear pairing that everyone knows about is the root chakra and the crown, the first and the seventh. And traditionally, Kundalini rises up from the root chakra up through all the chakras of the spine and connects to the crown. And that's one definition of enlightenment. I just thought, why was not the second chakra connected to the third eye, the sixth, and the third connected to the fifth? I didn't have any basis for that. It just seemed more symmetrical, more normal and balanced. But Prana and Susanna were quite clear. Second and the fifth, and the third and the sixth. I still wondered about it, but I could experience it very clearly. Then I happened to run across a book called Kundalini Yoga, this group from India, where they just map out all the energy circuits in the book. Sure enough, they talk about a built-in wire, so to speak, a built-in channel between the second and the fifth chakras. Very nice validation of this. What we're doing here is we're infusing the creative energy of the second chakra into our speech. It's with this practice that we honor this command or this instruction in the Bible. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. That our speech becomes so pure and so powerful, so creative, that whatever we say becomes manifest. You may notice that we go through the third chakra, quite often considered a center of truth, as we breathe this. All with the point of making whatever we say to come true. This is how these great saints of antiquity, these great masters of antiquity, could give a blessing and the blessing had to come true. So while we're breathing this breath, or you can simply come back to your basic breath through your nostrils if you'd like. Let's just examine the programming that we have, the conditioning that we have that says this is impossible. So just check it out and see if there's this belief in you that says, well, I don't know if what those scriptures say is true or not, but I sure doubt that I can be that person. Just check, look for that. It's a question of self-worth. Check to see if your mind chimes in there saying, well, it may be self-worth, but that famous line of the mind. But it sure doesn't seem to be true for me. And all these things that come up, would it be okay with us if we moved our attention into our heart? Yeah, we just go to basic heart rhythm breathing here. Our attention in our heart. And could you just greet all these doubts and fears and disbeliefs with the love of your heart? They're just thoughts, aren't they? They're not necessarily true. We all tend to have a pattern. It's almost universal. of destroying expectations to protect ourselves from disappointment. In other words, we say, I doubt it. And so when it doesn't happen, we go, I knew it. Would it be okay with each one of us if we welcomed up this pattern of destroying expectations, of belittling possibilities, of belittling ourselves? Could we welcome that up, realize that it has served us well, and it's okay if we let go of it now? Would it be okay with us if we allow ourselves pure possibility? And even if it doesn't happen, we just go, well, guess it hasn't happened yet. And let it show up when and if it's appropriate for it to show up. It's very important we allow ourselves to be purely spiritual beings having a human experience. Is that okay with you? Why not? It's okay. Part of that means acknowledging the infinite possibilities within us. That's Jesus saying, all these things that I have done, you will do them also. And those disciples that he spoke that to did them. If you read about the lives of the disciples, extraordinary beings. Is it okay with you if you claim that same potential for yourself? I allow my speech to be integrated with my heart. I allow my speech to be imbued with the creative power of creation. And just take those sentences, allow them to resonate in your second chakra, in your heart, in your throat chakra. I easily allow my speech to be sweet, filled with love. So pull up a picture. Imagine that we've reached the point where our doubts and fears have softened, faded away. We've stepped into being powerful spiritual beings, living fully engaged on the earth. And what we say becomes true. Check to see if you have any resistance to that. I did. Like almost a wave of nausea came up for me. Oh, how careful I'll have to be. How badly I could blow it. Whatever energy comes up in you, can you greet it with love? Can you just love it? It just wants to be heard, wants to be acknowledged. Can we more or less say, I hear the message, and it's okay. I'm allowing myself to move forward, trusting in the purity of my heart. Is it okay with us if we approach this level of power and purity in our lives as a toddler, an infant approaches the process of walking? Walk, they fall down, they get up, they go again. Would it be okay with you, with each one of us, if this mastery of the power of pure speech is a learning process, and it just naturally happens? And if we make a mistake, we use the power of our voice to correct it. It can be a faint, soft, quiet voice inside of us, or even the spoken voice, either way. Again, put up this picture of being so pure, so integrated in our physiology, integrated with our chakras, with our heart, that we give a blessing and the blessing comes true. We give a curse and the curse comes true. Ouch. Who wants to curse? Could we set the intention and recognize that it is our job to bless and only to bless? And can we live in that space? Yeah. Can we allow our speech to be so pure that whatever we speak is truth, pure, unalloyed truth? And let's go over to the other side of this and imagine that never ever happens for us. Meditate, we do this, we do that. And this particular gift of the Holy Spirit, this breath in and out of the throat chakra, is very tied into the Holy Spirit. If this particular gift of the Holy Spirit never, ever, ever shows up in our life, can we be at peace? Just go up. Guess that wasn't supposed to be for me. I'll simply enjoy the other gifts that have come through my spiritual progress. That would be okay, wouldn't it? Can we move here into the center of our being? Completely free of any attachments, any aversions, to being completely integrated. Pure heart, pure second chakra, pure throat chakra. Energy flowing freely. Maybe it works that we speak and it becomes true. Maybe it doesn't. Can we allow ourselves to be at peace, whatever shows up? And could we, just to take this to the surface level of life, bless our leaders with purity of speech? Bless our leaders with truthfulness. What's coming up in me is almost a sense of sorrow for them, of compassion for them. Could we forgive our leaders for not speaking the truth to us? Could we forgive them some more and realize that they're in a very difficult position, doing the best job they are capable of? They have their own limitations, and they've been put in office as reflective of the collective spiritual evolution of the people. Our leaders are there to help work out our issues as a nation, our wounds as a nation. Is it any surprise they are not perfect? Of course not. Could we forgive them again and bless them with truthfulness? Bless them with clarity and vision. Bless them with the power to inspire, pull together the nation that they lead. And with that, let's move into the ending of our meditation here this morning. Feeling our heartbeat, feeling our feet on the floor, fully integrated between spirit, breath, and body. Living in this full integration of spirit and body. Let's take our morning stroll through our day. And where can we bring forth the sweet truth? Where can we speak the sweet truth as we go through our day? Always uplifting, always fulfilling, always loving. Through our morning, through our meals, our work, our family, our friends. What's going on today that would be blessed by the sweetness of your speech? And may we all live with this great gift of speech from the heart, speech filled with truth and creative power. May we use this to bless everyone in our lives. And just open your eyes when you're ready. And that ends our morning meditation, our formal class for the day. And we move into the second optional segment where we share gains, or if anyone is stirred up or has something in their lives they need to work on, please just unmute yourself and say good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I have a gain, and then if you wouldn't mind helping me on releasing on some stuff that came up yesterday. My gain is one. I've never done the heart meditation before. This was new to me. This one. And when I first started doing it, the first night I had the fear of death, so I had to let that go. I laid all night releasing the fear of dying. And then the second night, it happened again. So I let that go. And then the third night, I saw like snakes and bugs and all, centipedes. And I saw a big snake eat a centipede. And it scared me again. So I had to release again. And I realized, oh, I'm just cleaning out what's in the heart. And then one night, I heard very clearly, he's the devil, stay away. Oh, okay. So I could let that go as well. Finally, finally, yesterday, I moved into a place of love that I could feel this just place of love. And I'm thinking, okay, finally. So thank you.
Wow.
So for me, it's been a process.
That by the way is such a huge step. And I know I brought up the fear of dying in one of the other meditations, but yeah, in the first chakra. So the thing is, it's the primary program running our lives. This fear of,
Oh,
yes.
sorry. And you know what else came up real heavy?
Okay.
Um, After the fear of dying, after I had to face the fear of dying, I said, okay, well, that's just death. Well, I can face that. So I did. Then what came after that is just this grief, this this grief, this sadness, this of suffering, you know? And
Yes.
it took me, oh God, it took me like a week to get past that. Just this suffering, just watching things suffer. And then I realized even that it was just a deeper sense of fear of dying.
Yes. So Anne, this is really phenomenal. It's really wonderful. Can you see from all this that what's afraid of dying is your ego?
Yes, yes, I did. And that's why I kept letting it go. I would just, it would come up at like about 3, 4 in the morning. I wake up, and then I would release till morning,
Right.
and then I would do your program. And then it was gone. And I realized, oh, that's the program.
Yes. And we all have it, and has been a good friend for us. And it's okay if we let it go and use our common sense to protect us to be safe and secure rather than this unconscious program running our lives. So well done, Ian. Really nicely. And I love how persistent you are with it. Just keep coming and you just keep on loving it, healing it, letting it go again and again and again. And then you get down to the end of it, and underneath it is peace.
Hmm. And I finally hit that yesterday, that, oh,
Yeah.
peace, just this love. And I'm like, oh, it was so worth it.
Thank you so much. Is there something you wanted to work on, or is that it?
One more thing, and then what's come up was, and I know this is programmed because I caught it this morning, and I let it go, and then it came up in a deeper sense, the sense of injustice. I let it go, and I stepped out of it, the election, and oh, it was a dog fight, and I stepped out of it. I was completely neutral, and
Nice.
then and I was like, oh, thank God, I'm out of it. It's just a story,
Yes.
and it didn't matter who. It just didn't matter. I was done. And then something happened with me yesterday and it brought up that sense of injustice again. I said, oh, there it is again. And I thought during releasing with you, it's a program, that old program. Somebody fix this for me. This isn't right. This, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that, and I thought, oh, that's a program. Okay, I can let this go as well. So,
So
and
let's work on injustice then. This is a great topic.
mhm,
Okay. So everyone, can you find some injustice in your life? And we'll work with you, but when everyone, it's so much more powerful if you find your own stuff than just listen to someone else. It really helps to listen to other people too. But so Anne,
mhm,
can you find some injustice in the world?
yes, mhm.
Life. Yeah. And you notice, what's your experience when you feel injustice? Where do you feel it?
In my solar plexus.
Solar plexus. Yes.
It's like a punch in the gut. Mhm. You just kind of want
Yes, like a punch in the gut.
to.
And when I feel it, I feel heat rising also. I get angry. Does that
Mhm.
happen for you? Or
As I start going deeper into it, yes, it does. I start getting hot.
yeah, I know and that's the solar plexus. It's a distortion of the energy there. And we're always faced with a choice. We can use that energy to fuel our quest for justice, very legitimate choice here, or we can heal the energy. Which would you prefer here?
I prefer to heal it, to let it go, to
Okay,
send.
good,
Mhm.
good. So can you just feel this energy of injustice? And while you're feeling it and being with it and loving it, can I ask you a few questions?
Yes. Hmm.
Yes. So when you see injustice, it's really just a judgment on your side, isn't it? Right?
Yes, yes, yes. I saw that. Yes. Hmm.
It's an injustice. And you're basing that on your sensory understanding and vision, seeing what's going on. And would it be okay with you if you went to a deeper vision of what's going on? So, in other words, we may see a person being mistreated, say this is injustice, and we look at it from a deeper, expanded perspective, and we see that this person may have been mistreating people in the past, and he's just learning his own lesson.
Oh, you know what brought up for me?
What's that?
Um, I'm surprised actually. Um, Grief, like the sense that I should have done something.
Yes. Good. So good. We'll go right there. You should have done something. So this I should have done something is basically beating yourself up, saying you weren't good enough. Yes?
Um, yeah, that yeah, I'm mad at myself
Yes.
for not standing up for, again, and I guess maybe this is the judgment for what's right and just allowing it.
So Anne, does beating yourself up create justice in the situation?
No, it doesn't. Okay, no, it doesn't. Thank you.
Right. Would it be okay with you if you let go of this beating yourself up, disapproving of yourself?
I'm letting it go. That's why I didn't say anything. I was deeply letting it go.
That's okay because you let it go some more. And everyone else, if you've ever disapproved of yourself for not speaking up, for not acting, could you let go of beating yourself up, of disapproving of yourself? Just let that energy go. Love it, be with it, let that energy go. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the other person. So how's that going, Anne? Is there still a lot of disapproval or is that pretty much faded?
I'm letting it go, and I'm realizing, um, yes, I'm letting it go, and I realize it's a program, and I realize I realize that it's not from this time around. What I
Good,
mean, it's not from this incarnation. It's
good,
the program that I brought in.
good. So could you allow yourself to be grateful for any programs that you were born with?
Okay, I feel the gratefulness.
Right. Is it okay if you look at them as the fuel for your spiritual progress? Is that okay with you to see them that way?
I'm saying yes, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. So is it okay with you if you heal these programs and every time you heal them, you move more into integration and wholeness?
Yes, I'm moving there now.
That's what we're doing. And all these programs that we're born with, can you see it's there for you to work with?
Yes, I can now. Yes, I can.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. Is it just or unjust that you're born with these programs? Is it fair or not fair?
It's neither.
It's neither, is it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Would it be okay with you if every time you see an injustice, you come back to this place and realize it's your own judgment and you let go of that judgment, let go of the energy, excuse me,
Mhm.
still be free to take whatever action you deem to be correct? Would that be okay with you?
Yes, Steve, and I just thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. I moved into love. Yes,
Good.
it's about just loving
Yes. And is injustice going to be more likely to be healed by your judgments or by your love?
by my love. I see it clearly.
Yes. Can everyone else go there also? Are you going to be more successful dealing with injustice by your anger, your frustration, your rage, or by your love?
By my love. I just want to wrap my arms around you and tell you thank you for bringing me here. Just thank you. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay, we'll call that a gain there, Anne. And
You
thank you so much for bringing it up. By the way, the sense of justice and injustice is really strong in the knight archetype. In I Am Heart, we have 12 archetypes based on the four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and the master, prophet, and saint paths. And the knight is a very fiery, the fire element of the prophet. And, it serves, to have missions and go out and right wrongs and that sort of thing. And that's one of the things that the knight has to overcome and move into peace and fight those battles from love rather than from anger. Whew, yeah, and that was a powerful healing. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else who has a gain to share or has an issue they'd like to work with? Another Anne. Hello, Anne.
This is the day for Anne's, maybe. I just want to, I just have loved this meditation program that we've done. Gotta say that to start with. But one of the things that has come to me that's been a gain, I guess, is you always, the first week or so, you said we should bring in a name for our heart. And I'm going, I don't know what name I should give it. And so about maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe, or whenever, it just came to me that my name for my heart is divine presence.
Ah,
It's just so comforting to go to my divine presence whenever, and I can just visualize that warm place that's there always for me. But speaking has always been a thing for me. So dealing with the throat today, just I know I need to open more and be willing to share and speak.
we'll take this as a gain that you spoke up today, can't we?
I think so.
Big gain. So just notice that it's bigger than you think. Okay, we do these throat practices, and suddenly you're speaking up. Okay, that's a bigger gain than you think. Thank you very much. And can we just call you Anne Divine Presence?
That'd be great. Oh, I just love that, and I'll just always keep that with me. I know, because it seems so powerful.
The way it gets, they would have said it in the Middle Ages, it would be Anne of the Divine Presence. That has a lovely ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Anyone else have a urge or an impulse? I could tell another story, a fun story about the throat chakra, but I don't want to. If people want to have something to say or want to work, I'd rather do that. I guess it was unfair. Once I mentioned a story, everyone wants a story. So this comes out of the Vedic tradition, out of India, and it's a story, one of the creation stories. There's many creation stories in the Vedic tradition. And in this one, they have these tiers of gods, sort of like you have in the Greek gods, the Titans, and then whatever the next level of god, the Olympians. So Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma are the three main gods. And you've got all these minor gods and all these minor demons going, living in this and that. And at one point, the gods decide that they should create creation. They need the demons for this because, it's polarity. We have light and dark like this. So they go to the demons and they say, we want you to help us create creation. And what they did is they got this huge snake. Of course, it makes no sense that there's a snake, but like a big rope. And they got the gods on one side and the demons on the other side. And they threw in this big pot, bunch of nothingness. And they wrapped this snake around it and they started pulling back and forth, churning the ocean of nothingness, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And they kept doing it and they kept doing it. And what happened was this foul, foul smell, this toxic, poisonous gas came out. And they're all going, oh no, now we have to live with this forever. And so they don't know what to do. They call on Lord Shiva. Shiva shows up, looks at it, bends over this cauldron that's been pulled back and forth by the gods and demons, and he inhales all of this toxic, noxious, smelly gas, and he pulls it into his throat. And his throat transforms it into the sweetness of creation. And he exhales it, but his throat turns blue in the process. And what the story is telling to me is that our throat is this great center of transformation. And we can use it to transform everything in our lives. And it happens through the breath and the spirit coming in. So that's the story. They continue the churning, and the nectar of Amrit comes up. This is the nectar of immortality. And the gods who are supposed to be pure and virtuous, they have promised to share this with the demons. And instead they say, oh no, we can't share this with the demons. They'd live forever. And the demons, so they steal it. The demons retaliate by sending in a demon to impersonate a god and get one drop of that nectar. And that's then the creation keeps on continuing. But I'll bet Tara would know that story better than I do. But that's the power of the throat. And that's why we say things and they are transformed. We say things with full integration of our heart, with our creative center, and they simply come into manifestation. Yes. Nilakantha. Thank you, Tara. The one with the blue throat. And for us, may I say, we are going to be the ones with the sweet throat. We'll breathe in and drink this nectar of purity, this nectar of truth. Shall we call that a morning, or does someone else have something that they'd like to share? I'm starting to look at, I usually don't even look at the names, but I'm looking here and I see some very old friends that I haven't talked to for ages. So nice to see everyone. Blessings to us all. See you guys tomorrow.